Tonight on WBOC News at 6.
I'm Steve Hammond.
And I'm Paul Butler. We're covering all of Delmarva tonight. In Maryland, Governor Larry Hogan proposes his own version of the phosphorus management tool. What this means for farmers and environmentalists fighting for immediate change.
In Wicomico County, getting closer to a verdict in the Paul Tatum murder trial. Tatum is charged with killing a 72-year-old Salisbury man. And today in court, the victim's housemate took the stand. What he says happened.
This city in Sussex County, seen from Chopper 16, is seeing an increase in crime. What people and police are saying about the latest statistics.
Another day of very cold temperatures on Delmarva, but we'll get above freezing tomorrow before we get another shot at some snow on Thursday. I'll have an update on that coming up.
Now, WBOC News at 6, Delmarva's news leader.
Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley had plans to clean up the bay through regulations to control the amount of phosphorus. Now, new Governor Larry Hogan gives his thoughts on the matter with 4 changes to the proposed phosphorus management tool. Good evening. I'm Paul Butler.
And I'm Steve Hammond. Welcome to WBOC News at 6. Before we explain the changes, let's start with a reminder of what the phosphorus management tool, or PMT, is. The PMT identifies farms where high levels of phosphorus exist. The tool would lower the amount of phosphorus allowed on farms, which means many of Maryland's farmers would have to use less of the affordable and effective chicken manure they use now and replace it with more expensive inorganic fertilizer.
WBOC's Mid-Year Bureau Chief Tyler Butler is live in Annapolis tonight. And Tyler, you got a good look at Governor Hogan's changes.
Steve, Paul, this new phosphorus management tool, the 5th such PMT proposed since 2012, has been described as a compromise. It has some more of the leeway that farmers have been asking for, while at the same time becoming more aggressive on limiting phosphorus runoff in some instances. 2 PMTs are now making their way through the state capitol. O'Malley's, which is being championed by Senator Paul Pinsky and Delegate Stephen Lafferty, and Governor Hogan's PMT, proposed last night. Here are the differences. O'Malley's PMT is set to be implemented by 2021. Hogan's pushes that deadline a year back, which he says allows farmers more time to adjust. O'Malley's bill would slowly phase in the lower phosphorus limit over 6 years. Hogan's will force farmers with excessive phosphorus levels to stop using chicken manure immediately. Additionally, O'Malley's regs required an impact analysis before implementation. Hogan's administration plans to do 10 to 12 on-site economic evaluations of farms. And in addition, Hogan plans to require an evaluation of all farms to make sure they're keeping up with the regulations before forcing them to the next level of regulation. And every 6 years, soil samples will be sent to the Maryland Department of Agriculture to track phosphorus levels statewide. Secretary of Agriculture Joe Bartenfelder says these changes strike a good balance between the farmers and the environmentalists.
Well, it's absolutely a good balance, and what I think it shows commitment on the part of MDA to continue to work towards a solution in this matter.
But some have their concerns about deviating from the original timeline.
I haven't heard anything directly from farmers that they need another year or two beyond that. And the transitions laid out in the bill should allow farmers to reach that goal in 6 years, not in 7.
Hogan plans to publish the regulation for public comment on April 3rd. There are also some provisions in Governor Hogan's new PMT that would provide new technology as well as financial help to try and help farmers make this transition. Reporting live in Annapolis, Tyler Butler, WBOC News.
Tyler, thanks. Now, love it or hate it, the phosphorus management tool, or PMT regulation, will directly affect people on the Eastern Shore. WBOC's Maxine Bensel spoke with one farmer who thinks it's good that Hogan's plans will give farmers more time. Environmentalists, though, do not agree.
If passed, not until 2022 would Wicomico County farmer Charles Wright have to follow new phosphorus management regulations. Here on his 600 acres of farmland in Hebron, he says he's satisfied with the governor's new timetable.
Hogan's plan is better than O'Malley's because he's engaged the farm community. He's actually given a little more in the upfront. He's going to give us an extra year to compare the PMT versus the phosphorus site index so farmers can get geared up instead of being instantaneous.
Which Wright says will give farmers extra time.
Figure out if they're going to need new equipment what it's actually going to cost.
In Annapolis, that extra time has environmentalists at the Clean Water Rally fed up.
Don't backtrack on the bay! Hey!
Midshore Riverkeep Jeff Hortzman says the shore has an industrial pollution problem thanks to the chickens and their manure, and there's no time for backtracking.
Let's not let a misinformed campaign promise pollute our rivers. Let's not delay the PMT. The existing phosphorus management process that we use hasn't been updated in 10 years. The PMT will enhance and improve that.
Wright says it's a compromise.
So we try to meet in the middle, and that's probably the best thing Governor Hogan's done. He's tried to meet with both sides, find something that's workable for the farmers and good for the environment at the same time.
Even with Hogan's new plan, the debate remains between farmers and environmentalists here on the Eastern Shore. Reporting in Wicomico County, Maxine Bensel, WBOC News, Hebron.
To learn more about the phosphorus management tool, check out additional information in tonight's Web Extra. It's all posted on WBOC.com.
Well, it has been dominating the headlines for the past couple of weeks, and it is once again on our radar. Literally, snow is falling on parts of the peninsula right now, and more of it is making its way towards Delmarva, and word is that it's going to get here sooner than expected. Chief Meteorologist Dan Satterfield in the Storm Tracker Weather Center. Dan, what's the latest word on snowfall totals?
Well, for tonight, we're going to see some light snow, maybe a dusting. That will move out. Then tomorrow night, a much more significant storm. Look at radar right now. We are now seeing some light snow in the Salisbury area. I've had reports down in Accomack County as well, but right in this area, enough snow to produce a dusting is possible. I'll zoom in on that and show you that it is coming down in some spots pretty quickly now. Not going to get an inch, I don't think, but you could see again some snow on the roads. This will taper off in about 90 minutes to 2 hours. Tomorrow night, though, a heavy storm passes to our south. The exact track of that low is still not a certainty, but 2 to 3 inches on the lower shore, and by the time you get to Pocomoke City South, 3, maybe 6 inches of snow will fall. That may change, though, depending on the track of that low. We'll talk more about it coming up.
All right, Dan, thank you. A Salisbury man sentenced to 35 years behind bars for possessing fentanyl as well as other drugs. All of this according to Wicomico County State's Attorney Matt Maciarello. Back on June 19th of last year, Irving Jones III was pulled over in a car. He was riding in it. He was pulled over for running a stop sign. Police found bags of fentanyl, Xanax, and marijuana in Jones's possession. Again, he gets 35 years in Wicomico County.
Testimony continued today in the trial of a Wicomico County man charged with murder. 35-year-old Paul Tatum is accused of killing 72-year-old Donald Mariner with a baseball bat last spring. WBOC's Bill Mitch joins us tonight in the Newsplex. And Bill, Mariner's housemate took the stand in court today giving his account of what happened.
Paul Creston Pumphrey says he was also attacked along with Mariner in the early morning hours of April 16th of last year. Pumphrey says he has permanent damage from that assault.
Day 2 in the murder trial of Paul Tatum began by wrapping up a witness from day 1, Donald Mariner's daughter. The second witness was an auctioneer who had helped Mariner sell a large collection of his guns. Third was Creston Pumphrey, the housemate of Mariner. Pumphrey said he was woken up the morning of April 16th to the sound of Mariner struggling to breathe. When he went down the hall, he was met by a person wearing a mask and hooded sweatshirt swinging a baseball bat. Pumphrey says the suspect hit him in the shoulder, hip, and 4 times in the head. The next witness was a neighbor of Tatum who claims Tatum tried to sell him a TV stolen from Mariner's home. He also admitted to having memory problems. The neighbor was followed by a crime scene technician who processed the Pemberton Drive home. The technician described in detail the process she used to collect evidence and photographs. Many of the photographs, including the blood-smeared bedroom of Donald Mariner, was shown to the jury.
Testimony may go on until 7 this evening, so the case would be able to finish up on Wednesday. Tatum's girlfriend is still expected to testify in this case, and it is still possible for Tatum to take the stand in his own defense.
All right, Bill Mitch, thank you. In Delaware, 2 more people have died from the flu. According to health officials, that brings the number of flu fatalities in Delaware to 23 so far this season. 18 of those deaths were in Newcastle County, 2 were in Kent, 3 were in Sussex. Delaware is close to passing its highest number of cases in the past 10 years.
Like almost everything else in life, your license may soon come in digital form. Our Sussex County Bureau Chief, Evan Kosloff, joins us now in the Bureau. And Evan, you spoke with officials at the Department of Transportation who have been leading the charge for this change.
Yeah, and Paul, we all have an ID. It looks a little bit like this. It has your photo, date of birth, all the info you need, but soon it could look like this. The General Assembly has called on DelDOT to explore the feasibility of getting these IDs on your smartphone. Delaware would be the first state in the country to offer this service to their drivers. Transportation officials say this is all about convenience. However, some legislators have concern with cost, privacy, and above all else, security.
It just makes life simpler for Delawareans and our citizens. Again, you know, I have a new iPhone 6 and I use my fingerprint to buy things at the App Store. It would be just as easy as, you know, showing somebody, hey, this is my digital kind of credential, just like people do now for, you know, boarding airplanes with their, you know, their boarding pass.
All right, now coming up tonight on WBOC News at 7, hear from a legislator who has some concerns with the plan and also when a decision might be made. From the Sussex County Bureau, I'm Evan Kosloff. Back to you guys.
Evan, thanks very much. On the subject of decisions, Maryland's House Judiciary Committee held a hearing this afternoon on a bill that would essentially legalize marijuana. This bill, sponsored by roughly 30 Democratic delegates, most of which represent areas across the Bay. The bill would allow adults 21 years or older to possess up to 1 ounce of pot and grow up to 6 plants. And the bill also calls for the Maryland Comptroller to establish rules and regulations for businesses looking to grow, distribute, and sell marijuana in the state of Maryland.
It is something that is stealing people's attention. Crime is on the rise on this part of Delmarva, seen from Chopper 16.
And why police there say the statistic doesn't tell the whole story. We will fill in the missing piece coming up next on WBOC News at 6.
It's a problem throughout the country and even here on Delmarva. Talking about drug use, and it's continually growing.
And it's not just the big cities that it affects. And as WBOC's Lindsay Tuckman reports from Chopper 16, the rise in drug use can be attributed to a rise in crime in Lewis.
In big cities, a minor increase in crime might not cause that much of a stir, but in a small town, it can make a big impact. Taking a look over Lewis from Chopper 16, the police reported an overall increase in crime last year, but say even though it's significant, it might not represent a true problem. The Lewis Bake Shop is open year-round. A small-town coffee store where employees get to know their customers.
People think that they're safe in a small town. Just because it's a small town doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be safe.
Sarah Garrick says this on the heels of the release of the Lewis Police 2014 report. Crime is up. For example, robberies went from 0 in 2013 to 3 last year. Burglaries bounced from 14 to 20, and drug offenses 49 to 70.
I wasn't surprised with the rise in drugs and the overdoses and the things that are happening. Those addicts need money, so I feel the break-ins are coming in from the drug use.
But according to police, the numbers shouldn't concern residents, but they should still be on alert either way.
If it just keeps going up, up, and up, and up, then we've got a problem that we need to deal with.
Chief Jeffrey Horvath also adds that the drug arrests come from more proactive police work and represent officers actively looking for drug-related crimes. Crimes that in this small town, people take notice. Police say they do expect to continue the increase in drug arrests, but hope that leads to an eventual decrease in drug use in the future. Reporting over Sussex County and Chopper 16, I'm Lindsay Tuckman, WBOC News, Lewis.
Sick of saying it? More sick of feeling it, I think. Another bitterly cold morning on Delmarva. How about news watcher Susan Snyder sent us this picture of ice on the Menoken River around 8 this morning.
Coming up after the break, Dan updates us on the snow that's falling right now and more of it that is heading our way. Your forecast is next on WBOC News at 6. Well, we've got an eye towards tomorrow night, but right now the snow is falling, and this one snuck up on us.
Yeah, yesterday I said maybe Accomack County might see a very light dusting, and that system is creeping more and more to the north, and it's made it all the way to Salisbury. We're now looking at a moderate to heavy dusting of snow, enough to cause some temporary road problems. It'll be gone in about an hour and a half. Okay. But yes, so now that you know that, and I wipe the egg off my face, we'll talk about tomorrow night, okay? Look at that on radar. It's already all the way up into Sussex County. This is actually an important occurrence because remember yesterday I said, if you were watching, I said the computer models tend to have a cold bias and a south bias in snowstorms. In other words, they put the heavier snow south of where it actually ends up. So that's why I thought it might creep up all the way into Accomack County. Now it's all the way up to Salisbury. Tomorrow night's storm may very well be the same situation. Right now it looks like the heaviest snow will be Norfolk, but if the computer models make the same error, then we get snow all the way up onto Delmarva and perhaps significant accumulations. As of now, I'm thinking Sussex County to Dover, a half an inch to maybe 2 inches if it does creep up a bit. Salisbury down to Pocomoke City, 2 to 3 inches tomorrow night, with 3, maybe up to 6 down in Accomack County. This is preliminary, getting new data. I might end up moving these things all up to the north or back down to the south, depending on the track of that low. It was cold this morning, down to the single digits in some spots, most areas between 9 and 14. We're down into the mid to low 20s out there right now. It's been snowing for several hours down in Accomack County with snow on the roads in spots there. Winds are light out of the south. That will keep the temperature up a little bit tonight. We'll stay fairly cloudy. Another surge of cold air is going to come in tomorrow night. But as it moves in tomorrow, a northwest wind should warm us above freezing. Then the clouds come in, and here's the low pressure. Will the low be there or will it be here? If it's there, we get a lot more snow here on Delmarva. No doubt about it, though. Accomack County down to Norfolk, you're going to get a significant snow event tomorrow night, and it could be even farther north here on Delmarva. You saw the snowfall total map. Now, as we go into Thursday night and Friday, it'll stay cloudy. The winds are going to pick up, and it's not going to get to freezing. As a matter of fact, it's probably not going to even get close to freezing. Tomorrow, though, we will get into the mid to upper 30s before the clouds roll in. Don't let it fool you, though. As we go into the evening hours, the temperature goes back down, the clouds increase, the snow starts after midnight, ends around midday on Thursday. Friday, 16 and 29. We might nudge freezing, though, on Saturday, and then warmer weather with rain, maybe starting as a little wintry mix Sunday night. But by Tuesday, temperatures in the upper 40s. Steve, back to you.
All right, Dan, thank you. Still to come here on the News at 6, a building fire forces several people out of their apartments tonight. After the break, we'll tell you where it happened and how many people were affected.
That's coming up next, but first, the people, places, our history.
WBOC is proud to serve all of Delmarva. Here's meteorologist Mike Lichniak.
We are proud to serve the town of Cambridge in Dorchester County. It would be at the county courthouse that Harriet Tubman's influence would be seen firsthand in the freeing of her niece. We take you to the county courthouse in Chopper 16.
Kesha and her 2 children were being put up for auction in front of the courthouse in 1850. When the bidding started, her husband, John Boley, would be one of the bidders in the crowd. He won the auction, but when the official came up to collect the payment, they were nowhere to be found. John had secretly moved to a waiting boat, which got them to Baltimore. It would be from here when they would meet up with Harriet Tubman and move them to Philadelphia.
WBOC is proud to serve the Dorchester County Courthouse and all of Dorchester County, and proud to partner with my friends at Johnny Gnostic. With spring just around the corner, now's a great time to visit their World of Outdoor Furniture during their pre-season clearance sale. Get 20% off all new outdoor furniture, plus clearance savings on last year's models. Only at Johnny Gnostic in Laurel and Dover. I'm Mike Lichniak in Chopper 16.
A building fire in Kent County displaces 9 people tonight. Delaware State Fire Marshal's office says it happened at Stone's Tavern and Package on Mechanic Street in Harrington before 2 this afternoon. Officials say it took nearly 2 hours to get the fire under control. 9 people who lived on the 2nd and 3rd floors are being assisted by the Red Cross. No injuries were reported. The investigation into what caused the fire continues in Kent County.
Also in Kent County, a local man is accused of setting a fire in a home where he was a temporary guest. That, according to the fire marshal's office in Delaware. 29-year-old Joshua Boyer is charged with arson. Fire officials say he set fire from within the home in Felton on Willow Grove Road. They say he'd been living there with the homeowners. Damage was estimated at $5,000. No injuries were reported. Fire officials say Boyer was arrested and then released after posting bond in Kent County.
The Maryland State Fire Marshal's Office says a furnace caused a 20 by 20 foot garage to catch fire in Dorchester County. It happened last night on Peach Blossom Avenue in Cambridge just before midnight. It took about 30 minutes to control. Authorities say there were no injuries. Damage is estimated at $10,000 in Dorchester County.
And a quick reminder for our, regarding our Proud to Serve segment. After years of spotlighting the wonderful people and places across Delmarva, we're looking to expand. And if you have an idea, Mike Litzniak would like to hear from you. Send him an email at mlitzniak@wboc.com. Send us your ideas and then look for them on the air soon.
Coming up, we're going to check some things off the most important list we'll ever have. After the break, we introduce you to this young Ocean City resident who's been battling cancer for years.
She says treatment has stopped, but getting to work on her bucket list has just begun. And what sits atop her list? That's next on WBOC News at 6. Well, life is short, and that's exactly why one local woman is making the most of it while she has it. 23-year-old Heather Bird of Ocean City has been battling leukemia since October of 2007. After several relapses, she is stopping treatment and starting her next adventure. Heather says she wants to raise $3,000 to help check things off her bucket list. At the top of that list, a trip to sunny California. WBOC posted her story online earlier today, and since then, Heather has reached her goal. You can read the full story on WBOC.com and get details on an upcoming fundraiser for her in Ocean City.
All right, folks, some parts of Delmarva getting a little dusting of snow tonight.
Yeah, let's show you the radar right now. It is actually creeping a little bit up into Sussex County now. I would say from Salisbury down to the south, we're going to probably see enough snow in the next hour to cause maybe a little bit of snow on the roads. Heavy dusting is probably the best way to put it. A bit more than a heavy dusting down in central Accomack County. It will end in about 90 minutes. The big event will come tomorrow night.
Thanks for joining us here for the news at 6, and for news anytime, get it now on WBOC.com.
Coming up next, CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley, and we'll be back in 30 minutes for the WBOC News at 7.
Good night, everybody.